We all think scholastic is academics. We think it's grades. Scholastic is something that happens in your head that you turn into an application of grades under our particular system of curriculum, be it pre-college, be it elementary, middle school, or high school. It's not just grades. It's not just classes. It's excitement. Each and every one of us here, I sincerely hope, are doing the thing that makes us excited. We go to work because we're excited. We do what we do because we're excited. We get paid because we're excited. And we get paid well if we're really excited because we do it very well. Now, if we don't do it well, we shouldn't get paid. We shouldn't cry about it. But if we're really excited about something, we really put our mind into it. So what are children excited about? Have you asked? Not told, have you asked? And you have to ask. And once you begin that process of asking, then you have to provide. And that's the most critical thing. You have to provide. It's not just the classrooms. Students have asked me many times, what is an engineer? Now I can start talking, and somewhere along there, the words stop. And this, what they start hearing is blah, 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 blah. All right? And I'm feeling good because I'm going through all this explanation about what an engineer is. And they're like, you get this glassy look in their eye like a deer in the headlight. They don't know what you're talking about anymore. If you're going to say a few words, watch the eyes. When the eyes glare over, go take them somewhere. Show them what an engineer is. Show them what it looks like. Show them why mathematics is important. Say something like this, which is what I used to do with kids because I used to deal with, and still deal with kids that are from the urban area. What's mathematics? I said, you know anything about numbers? They said, what? I said, no, not numbers, numbers. See, everybody started laughing, right? Because you know what I'm talking about, all right? If you get down on your knee and you have two dice, what's the probability that if you throw them at a certain distance with a certain speed across a certain surface, that they'll come up 7? What's the probability? Because then you can teach probability theory, can't you? And can't you also talk about physics? And can't you also talk about thrust? Can't you also talk about materials? Does it work? Yeah, because Willie used to make plenty of money off of you because doing that. Right? And he ain't going to college. You need to figure out how and what it is that makes that child excited. I want to play basketball. I want to be like Michael Jordan. I want to be like LeBron James. I want to be like Chris Paul. Really? You know anything about physics? Physics. Is you crazy? I don't know nothing about, what's that got to do with it? A certain thrust from a certain distance at a certain speed is going to put the ball in the hoop every time. Am I wrong? Who in here play basketball? Who in here caught a basketball? Who in here caught football? It's very simple. That's what gets them excited. And you say, is that scholastic? It will be scholastic because you walk them toward that process. So if we were going to do this job well, we have to understand that what we're saying to them is not necessarily going to affect them. That is not what they need to hear. They need to see it. They need to put it we need to put it in the context of their lives. Middle school. There's so many things going on in middle school that it boggles the mind. Let me tell you the first thing that's going on in middle school. Not school. It's the body. It's the body. That's when guys who used to run after a girl pop upside the head now run behind and go, ooh, Lord, that girl looks good. And the girls, all of a sudden, they like the guys. You don't smell bad anymore. That's going on in middle school, while at the same time, we're trying to talk about algebra. Are you drunk? It's not happening. It's not happening. So how do we relate the two? How do you do that? There's a certain amount of multiplication that happens when a young man discovers that he's a young man and that women are really kind of cute. The probability of you ending up with somebody that might like you has a direct correlation with the number of presentations that you make to some lady other than popping her upside the head. All right? So you need to say, how are you going to walk toward this young woman now? How are you going to talk to her? How are you going to act? When are you going to become what I call, and I'm a psychologist, productively schizophrenic? Talking to your boys, yo, man, what's up? And then the girl come by, hi there, how are you? How you been? Okay. But don't we do that now? I mean, that's how you ended up with that woman sitting next to you. Because I'm trying to figure out how that woman sitting next to me ended up with me. Because I ain't, look at me and look at her. Look at me, look at her. All right, figure that out real fast. So it is about relating to the child. That's the scholastic part. Once you get that excitement going, then you can talk about achievement. Then you can talk about empowerment. Then you can demonstrate empowerment and achievement. And what I'm charging with each one of us here today and tonight is to look at what it is that we're saying to the young people and how are we demonstrating in front of those young people what it is that we would like for them to understand. How are we relating them and bringing them to a sense of what their lives are about and where we want them to go. For the past 45 years, I've absolutely enjoyed talking with young people. That's the only way I've stayed alive, just to be really honest with you. Truthfully, the only way I've stayed alive. Quick story, kind of a sidebar. I'm running around for the past, for 7 years in the United States Army. I was a Green Beret. I was in a place called Laos. Did we fight a war in Laos? I was fighting a war in Laos. I don't know about anybody else. Because I was getting shot up in Laos. And when I thought that was the thing that I was going to do for the rest of my life. Until one time, for the very first time in 7 years, and 195 different missions, and 295 times jumping out of an airplane, and 85 people dying, 35 of them with my own hands, I got scared. And I said, God, what do you want me to do? And he said, not this. Not this. I said, well, what do you want me to do? I said, just get me out of this. He said, do you really mean it? I said, yes. And I'm serious now. He said it just the way I'm talking to you. Do you really mean it? I said, yes. He said, then get down. I was up in a tree. Turn around, which is not something you never do, and walk back, something nobody ever does in the Army. I walked back, and all the way back, I'm saying, what do you want me to do? And you know what he told me? Get kids into college. I said, that's nice. I haven't gotten into college. So well, then you need to get that done. So the question is, and the point that I'm making with this is, he met me where I was. Where I was. Oh, sure, he could have said, listen, you know, you're going to go off and have a real big career. You're going to get this many degrees, and you're going to do all this, and you're going to get people into college. And it would have sounded like wah, 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 wah to me. But he met me where I was. He got me out of my situation into where I needed to be, into where he wanted me to be, and he got me to where I am now. That is what we need to do with young people. There's not a lot wrong with them. There is not a lot wrong with them. What is right with them is far more important than what's wrong. They're willing to listen. They're willing to try it. They're willing to look at you as a possible solution to their circumstance. They are more than willing to do that. They simply want to be met where they are. And we can do that. We've already gotten our degrees. We've already gotten our situation. Well, how are we going to take them from where they are to our situation? We say it, now we must mean it. And that is, I do want this child to stand on my shoulders and grow from me. So that may very well mean that you can't stand up like this. You may have to get down so they can get to you and get up on your shoulders. And then you have to stand up with them on you and get them to where they need to be. I pulled this out here, and actually I'm walking around with it. Totally forgot. I told Carlton, where's Carlton? Told Carlton that, Carlton asked me, so what are you going to talk about? I said, well, man, I have a thing of preparing myself, and before I get up, I say one thing, and I've said it, I don't know, thousands of times. And I say, God, your brain, my mouth. God said, look, walk around with it, but don't talk about it. So I'll just kind of give you a little hint of what's in here. And I'm going to give it to the fraternity. Here you go. It's a presentation about what you can do with young people. It's a presentation about the statistics of what can be done with one's life. But far more important than that, I think it's a good roadmap for each and every one of us to think about what it is that we need to do with young people and with our own lives. It is what we're about. It's what we're about, whether we be an iota or an alpha, like me. It's whether we are a person who works at various places, our accountants or doctorates, like my dear wife who has a doctorate, because she's smarter than I am. Finer than I am too, but anyway. Or whether or not you're doing what I'm doing. It is what we are supposed to be doing. We can't mouth it anymore. Otherwise it's just yeah, 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 yeah. Last thing I want to say to you. My mentor, his name was Dr. Andre Hammonds. Dr. Hammonds, country boy from Tennessee, professor of sociology at Indiana State University, said to me once, he said, son, the world is round and you need to be thinking that you start here and you'll end up back where you started. The point, though, is that you don't end up in exactly where you started. You end up further than where you started. That's our job. We started at some point, and now we need to take it a full circle around and end up much further, but with those young people on our backs. I'm asking you to do just one thing. In the black church, we always have this call and response, right? So here comes the call. Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to do this? Yes. If you're willing to do this, then say amen. Amen. Bye.
Thank you. So, on behalf of Iota Phi Theta and Alpha Psi Omega Alumni Chapter, everyone please stand and give a round of applause. We are giving the Rising Star Lifetime Achievement Award to Mr. Anthony Howell for his dedication, leadership, excellence.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you, son. Thank you. You want to do that now?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Oh, hey.
Got a group.
Hey.